it kind of like backfired because I loved the tools and I kept working them and feeling better without attachment to outcome. And in like this weird way, I like relinquished control of goals and like learned how to manifest instead and just follow my bliss. And it really felt like the clouds parted and like all I had to do was just one step at a time, just keep feeling good, you know?
Welcome to Suburban Warrior, the podcast that will impact, inspire, and empower you to transform your mindset and become the badass warrior that you are. I'm your host and fellow warrior, Chrissy Pfeiffer, former clinician and corporate marketing exec turned multi-passionate entrepreneur, performance and life coach, and mom to 4 not-so-little warriors. Each week, I will bring you honest conversations with inspiring guests to share their stories of resilience, optimism, success, and simple yet effective strategies so that you transform your thoughts and change your behavior to get the results you want in your life. You will be empowered to take action, warrior up, and believe in you. Let's do this. What's up, warriors? Welcome back to another episode of the Suburban Warrior Podcast. I'm your host, Chrissy Pfeiffer, and I am back this week with another amazing Suburban Warrior here to share her story with us. Before we get into it with my guest, I want to remind you all that we have the From Pause to Power free roadmap available to you on suburbanwarriorpodcast.com. This is a soup to nuts menopausal roadmap that is everything I wish I had about 10 years ago when I was going through my menopausal journey and could not find the information available to me. So it's now available to you as a free download. So please check it out at suburbanwarriorpodcast.com. And while you're there, be sure to sign up for our free Pause Like a Warrior newsletter, because that is a newsletter that's dropped into your inbox once a week. It's the highlights from every episode of the podcast, as well as some new news in menopause and everything midlife women need to know about. So be sure to sign up for that as well. So this week, I am really thrilled to welcome such a beautiful guest to the podcast. I'm going to get right into her introduction because I have a feeling we're going to have so much to talk about. Her name is Deganit Nuur. She is a world-renowned spiritual teacher, celebrity clairvoyant intuitive, acupuncturist, and resident healer at the Four Seasons, New York City and LA, writer and speaker. Founder of Nuurvana Clairvoyant Healing, Nuur has been named one of the top 15 intuitives worldwide by Gwyneth Paltrow's publication Goop, and has been featured on the Today Show, Good Morning America, and written up in the New York Times, Forbes, Vogue, and Vanity Fair, amongst many other reputable publications. So welcome to the podcast.
I'm so happy to be here. It is wonderful here.
Oh, thank you. I am so thrilled to have you here because, wow, I mean, that introduction, just, to be able to say Gwyneth Paltrow and you in the same name, like how fun is that? Congratulations on that accolade. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Goop and Gwyneth Paltrow. And so congratulations on that. I mean, top 15 intuitives worldwide. That's really, really impressive. And, I can't wait to get into talking more and more about your intuitive gifts and how you've brought them to light in the world. But first, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yes, so I am an Iranian immigrant, got here when I was about 4 and grew up in Fresno, California. Not exactly a suburb, but kind of identifies as one.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just pretend for these purposes.
Yeah. And spent about a decade in San Diego where I went to undergrad, studied Chinese medicine in grad school, and then lived in New York for like 15 years thereafter. And that's where I got to know some really incredible people. And I really loved New York. I know you didn't ask, but like I did feel like
Yeah.
with the gifts that I share, it was just like in such high demand, and it was such a nice balance for me to offer the yin within such a yang environment. Like it was,
Yeah.
I'm very yang by nature, So just to be able to like resonate with a frequency that works for me, knowing that in many other ways it's like a really dysregulating frequency for all of us there, and being able to like regulate on a personal and a greater level there was something really fun to work with.
Yeah. No, I can imagine that. And so was that around the time? Because I know part of your story is, which I think is really just such an amazing and beautiful story into how you fell into really discovering your gifts and that sort of thing. But weren't you like in dental school, right?
I was rejected from dental
Oh,
school.
reject. That's what it was. That's
Yep.
what it was. Yes. Okay.
Rejection is protection. I was so
Right.
devastated. And
Yeah.
that's when I found the tools that I'm now teaching, and I have my forthcoming book on the tools. But yeah, I just was trying to feel better because I felt like such a
Right.
loser. I was so low. All my friends were going off to grad school, and I had like this year to, I was taking like these post-baccalaureate courses in science and just trying to like increase my chances of getting into dental school
Yeah.
while practicing these tools that increase your intuition and your connection with your feelings. And I was just trying to like, not feel my feelings. It kind of like backfired because I loved the tools and I kept working them and feeling better without attachment to outcome. And in like this weird way, I like relinquished control of goals and like learned how to manifest instead and just follow my bliss. And it really felt like the clouds parted, and like the path, like all I had to do was just one step at a time, just keep feeling good.
Yeah.
Whereas like the dental path felt more like an uphill battle. And I thought that that was a good thing. Like I was like such a martyr, that I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, like the
Right.
struggle, like doing it.
Right.
Yeah. So,
I love that. Well, I think you bring up a good point because it's like that struggle. It's almost like what we're traditionally thinking that we're supposed to, in quotes, be doing, right? Like this is the path that was laid out. This is where I told everybody I'm going to go or what I'm going to do. So this is what I should be doing. And then when it doesn't work, you do have that, oh my God, I'm a loser, or this didn't work out for me. And now what? And what's next? So I think you bring up that very important point of like sort of what we think is the right path versus what may be the right path, but we just don't know
right.
it yet, kind of thing. But I would love to like understand it a little bit deeper, sort of, because you talk about just getting to a place where you felt better and you felt happy and you felt, you know, you were just focusing on that. What was that like for you, and or how did you do that? Because I can imagine a lot of people listening are thinking like, yeah, well, I'm not happy and I want to feel better, or I want to be better in this moment, but I don't know the tools, or I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, there's a cumulative effect. So for me, I remember it feeling like it happened overnight,
Yeah.
but it's definitely not overnight. I do have an example. Are we familiar with Louise Hay?
Yeah,
And
I am. Yes, of course.
yes, so I got that book when I was 18. Love Louise
Okay.
Hay. And I was practicing my affirmations. And for the most part, when I was practicing them, it was like I would say, I love and accept myself exactly as I am. And then this
Yeah.
voice in my brain would be like, no, you don't. And I just like fight myself with every affirmation. And it was
Right.
like, you are silly. Like, like you should be like skinnier. You should be smarter. You should be and it was like this laundry list of all the reasons why I do not love and accept
Right.
myself exactly as I am. And they were like hard. They were really hard for me to practice. I had like no self esteem. I'm like 18, right?
Yeah.
So I remember the day, there was like a day, probably like 30 days into the practice, and I hated that they were hard. And
Yeah.
so like that kind of like I guess the warrior in me kept me in it. Um,
Yeah.
they were not immediately gratifying. I will say that. Like it wasn't like, oh, this feels so good, I'm going to do it again tomorrow. It was like, no, the affirmations won, so I'm going to beat them tomorrow. And then of course like the mindset shifts and it's not a competition with yourself. But after 30 days, it went from thinking I was lying to myself and like just being mad to, oh, like I just like didn't fight it. And like that was new. There was like a little bit of a quiet. And then I would say probably like, I don't know, 3 weeks later, it was like I felt it and I just started crying. Like it was
Yeah.
like I love and accept myself exactly I am. And I couldn't think of a counter argument. And it felt radical. It was just like getting rid of all the negative noise was such a feat that just being able to say an affirmation and letting it just be that was, yeah, it felt huge, but it definitely took like about 2 months of,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's really powerful to hear. I think, at least for me, it is because I know I always sort of, my spiritual journey ebbs and flows, right? And it's like there are some months where I'm really great at meditating and doing
Hmm.
the affirmations and locking in, and then there are some months that get crazy
Yep.
and it falls off a little bit. And I think it's important for people to understand that it's, it's not always going to feel wonderful, and it's not always going to feel
Yeah.
right, right? But if you can stay with it and stick with it, and it's about the journey of it, and how you get to sort of loving yourself on a deeper level, and knowing yourself and all of that sort of.
Absolutely. Like for most of us, I would say it feels really unfamiliar, and
Yes,
really like
yes.
uncomfortable. Whether for me, I had like a lot of rage, so it was triggering a lot of rage, but like it could be a lot of grief that it's triggering or whatever, but like a wide range of feelings, but just not cozy, like not
Right,
comfortable. But it's interesting because then you just feel so comfortable in your own skin that you can take that peace and comfort with you everywhere you go on the flip side of that, like years later, years later with much practice. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And then how about the clairvoyant part about it? Like, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, to completely by accident. So I started working these energy tools, and in fact, they did make me feel better. There's like a golden sun that gives you your energy back. There's a grounding cord to like let go of like the nagging thoughts and expectations and the B that I got on that paper instead of the A or whatever. So you just like get rid of all the noise, is what I call it. And so that you're better able to tune into your truth. And I knew this was like an intuition cultivation series when I got into it, but I had never had a psychic reading. I didn't really know to take it seriously. Like I still had like my dentist hat on. And so I just kind of like wasn't taking it that seriously. It was more like another meditation practice for me. So just like while drunk, like, at parties, I gave my friends like psychic readings. They loved it. And so I started giving more psychic readings, like totally not taking it seriously. But
Right.
then people, like things started happening, things started coming true. People started telling their people. Before I knew it, like people were just like paying me for readings. I
Yeah.
never felt worthy of the money. I didn't want to charge. I felt like a con artist. I was, very uncomfortable with the ease of life in that moment because I had
Right.
never experienced that. So it was definitely like very suspicious.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
that's so great, right? Like we that is such a great point though, because right, we always question when we're joyful and when we're happy and when things come easy. It's like, wait a second, is this how it should be? Shouldn't I be
yeah.
working harder for it? Shouldn't it feel harder? And here you are, like, living out your truth and just having fun with it and enjoying it and making money from it. And you're like, wait a second, this isn't
Yes.
right. This isn't how it should be.
It
So
was so
great.
strange. Yeah, it was completely being reinforced in tangible ways, which like blew my mind and all my self-made constructs and limitations. And so, yeah, I decided to do it on purpose, and I ditched dentistry for like a career in acupuncture, went to school, merged the two. So I had like a healing clinic in Manhattan where every acupuncture session included a psychic reading. I actually had other practitioners there that were all psychic as well. And so, like, a massage would include
So
a reading.
wonderful.
Yeah, it was great. And then I decided to go online just a few years before the pandemic. And I feel like one of the side effects, like one of the perks of like being so tapped in is you don't even know why you're guided to do what you're doing
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why I took those energy lessons. Like, I didn't even fully believe in this world,
Yeah.
but it worked for
But you
me.
just did it. You followed your
Yeah,
intuition and you
but
did it.
yeah. And so, yeah, I followed my intuition, closed the healing center, was completely online. And that ended up being such a blessing, especially like in 2020. And then that's when I developed this like 6 month intensive that certifies people if they want to be certified in offering psychic readings. And if they don't want to be certified, it's just like a major life transformation.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
For them to sort of deepen their own gifts, sort of thing.
Deepen your own gifts and yeah, just let it be easy and have fun and
Yeah.
enjoy yourself and love
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question for you. Since you are surrounded by other psychics, like
Yes.
what is that like what does that feel like when you're you being a psychic and intuitive, you
Yeah.
around other psychics, like do you guys just like read each other's minds? Now, I mean, I know you don't do that,
Well,
but like what is that truly like? Because being around people like
it's
that
the best.
often that are like had that heightened awareness.
I love it. We do swap sessions often,
Yeah.
so that's nice. But more than anything, like if you're not clearing constantly, then you're projecting. You're not really psychic. You're just projecting your own stuff onto other people. And
Okay.
all my friends have integrity. And so I just the emotional maturity is probably my favorite part. Like the
Yeah.
depth, the self-accountability, the self-responsibility, like they can really hold space so we can go deep and like they are so great at giving feedback and they're equally as great at receiving feedback and it just feels like it's folks that like really know love. I don't know how
Yeah.
like sometimes you'll give somebody a compliment and then you feel awkward afterwards and other times
Yeah.
you'll give somebody a compliment and you will like want to hug them afterwards and you feel so much closer and like
Right.
those are my friends and I love that. And like,
Yeah. Oh, I
like
love that.
it's just like the
Yeah.
depth gets to keep growing because they're constantly growing. So it's the best.
It is. It's really special. So tell us a little bit more about Nirvana because that is, sort of what you have created and cultivated. It's your business now. So tell us a little bit about what that is.
Yeah. My last name is Nuur, which means
Yeah.
light. And so it's like a little bit of a spin on Nirvana, which is I can't even remember anymore, but it's like like transcending the forest of suffering or something, or the forest of illusions. But Nuurvana is more like shining a light on the forest, like this is life, and just kind of like not even focusing on transcending it, but just accepting it as it is and just accepting there's a whole lot of trees here. I'm going to
Right.
love some parts of the trees. Other parts are going to get a little messy and get uncomfortable. And this is it. And for as long as like I'm in the sun, I'm good. Like if I focus on the light grows and everything's just like prettier and brighter and you can see the spiritual significance of it all. And the rose is worth a thorn. Like it's all
Yeah.
one. You can't have either or, and it's perfect in that way. And so like you appreciate the thorn as much as you appreciate like the scent and like the beauty and the softness. So yeah, Nirvana started off as psychic readings and then evolved into readings that also include acupuncture and essential oils and cupping and e-stim and all this other stuff. Now it's mostly readings done by myself, Tim and Crystal online. So I'll still work out of the Four Seasons and provide acupuncture that way. All sessions end in a mantra because you heal you. We totally believe the age of the guru is dead. We're just like energy translators,
Yeah.
which is why we're all like educators at heart too. So I have like programs, courses to teach you books now
Yeah.
that teach you how to heal you, how to listen to yourself, how to be your own guiding light. And we're happy to mentor and guide and
Yeah.
hold space along the way with the understanding that really you're your own best medicine. Yeah, and it's just like a really beautiful community and just really playful and adventurous. Like I feel like spiritual speakers are often kind of weird and just like willing to go there.
Well, willing to go deep, like you said earlier, right?
Yeah.
Willing to talk about things that aren't always talked about, like
Yes.
talking about the invisible. which,
Yes.
is always a little, that's going deeper. That is going into things that we don't normally talk about. And I love that you heal you, the body heals itself. And that teaching, advocating that you can heal yourself and your body is its own healer. It's just all of those
Absolutely.
lessons that, because I don't think innately we're taught that, as children or as young adults. I think we're usually taught to seek help outside of our bodies. And I think when we can finally understand that the body can and will heal itself, especially when we give it the right tools, it's so, so important. And
So
so,
empowering.
yeah, and especially so, a lot of my listeners of the podcast are women in midlife, right? And this is such a transformational period for women, right? And it really can start in your mid to late 30s and, goes for the rest of your life, but, into your 60s and stuff. But I think spiritually it's a big change too, because right, a lot of the chemicals are changing in our brain. We have a lot
Yeah.
of different thoughts. Our hormones are
Wild.
all over the place, right? It's wild. And
Wild.
so, this is why having someone like you on the podcast, I think, is so important, because I really do think, like, just how we think, how we take care of ourselves, and I think that voice in our head that you were talking about earlier, when you're saying the affirmations and you're getting the voice that is saying it's going against it. I think personally that voice gets really strong during perimenopause and menopause, and not in always a good way. Right? It can be very negative and change the way that you really think about yourself, and it can be damaging. It's I mean,
Yeah.
the number one age range of highest rate of suicide in women is 45 to 55, which is astounding and horrible. But I think,
Whoa. I did
yeah,
not
out
know
of our
that.
entire lifetime.
I
And
fully understand.
yeah, right. And it's, and
Whoa.
when you start to understand chemically what's changing in our bodies, you can understand that there are some mental health issues. But spirituality, I think, is such a big part of that, and our intuition and how we think, and all of that. So I'm just curious to ask you, do you see women in midlife in your practice? Do you see them like a little bit, are they different? Are they coming to you different? Are they arriving different? Do they have different needs than, maybe men or women of a different age?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm also in midlife, and so I
Okay.
feel like as
Well, you
I've
look so young.
thank you. Acupuncture works.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I feel like as I've matured, my audience has matured, right? And we've
Yeah.
all been growing together. So like that is actually the majority of my audience at the moment as
Okay.
well. And yeah, it's kind of like we can't talk about any like it's kind of like everyone has to talk about menopause before we can even because it's just
Yeah.
such an overarching theme. It's like the glasses that we're wearing right now. So before we can see anything else, it's like this is the filter that we're experiencing life through.
Yeah.
And I feel like universally what I have seen is the lack of the filter, which I'm loving, and like greater
Yes.
self-advocacy and like less
Yes.
consideration for other people's feelings or how, like what was there's like a meme, but kind of like shine brighter, let them wear
Yeah.
sunglasses, whatever, be
Right,
bigger,
right, right.
let them choke.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they'll handle it or they can move. But like
Right. Exactly.
we've stopped inconveniencing ourselves, and like
Yeah.
it's just lovely. Like the liberation, I realize I myself have also experienced the fluctuations and the meno rage and the, all of that fun stuff too.
Yeah.
So I know it's not all a walk in the park, but I feel like as far as like unconditional self-acceptance goes, like I feel like I almost have no choice. Like I'm
Yeah.
like a million different people in a day. Like I really like don't even have the bandwidth to police any of them, you know? So it's
Right.
like
Exactly.
all new
Exactly.
levels of acceptance. Yeah, I love it.
I
And like
love it too.
the little anxiety that used to nag at me that kept me like sharp is gone. So I'm always blank, which means I forget like I'm way less efficient than I've ever been, but it's also like very peaceful. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that too.
Yeah. I do think when you get to the other side of the rage and all of the imbalances and all of that, there is such an inner peace that comes with
Yes.
this transformational time of our lives. And it's
Yes.
interesting to hear that, like, that's how people are showing up to you as well. And so, I guess, let me ask you this. So, women who might be experiencing, sort of those feelings of like, what is happening to me? I do think in menopause you start to ask. I mean, I've always asked very deep questions. It's just been who I am. But I think in general, women start to ask deeper questions. You're getting to this time of midlife. So, if they are ready to go deeper with experiencing maybe, getting more into their own intuitive self, listening, connecting with a higher being, the universe, whatever you want to call it. What are some things that they can do to help sort of promote that practice for them?
I love this. May I talk about the book?
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Okay. So the reason that I love the book, it's called Imagine, but it's about your imagination and your intuition are just a frequency apart.
Okay.
You cannot think your way into intuition. Like you really, it's more of a visualization skill than it is an analytical skill, right? It's not
Okay.
about
Makes sense.
piecing
Yeah.
sentences together. It's about deciphering the psychic language. It'll come in symbols or different ways, and it's like about making sense of what you're receiving. And the fastest way to make sense of the intuitive messages you're receiving is to first like kind of get weird, go outside the box and visualize yourself to like hone the visualization muscle and get your imagination on board and your intuitive mind on board and the other hemisphere on board and just
Okay.
kind of like play in that field. So like the first three tools, it's a book of 7 tools,
Okay.
and the first three tools, they're all energy tools. So you'll visualize 7 different things happening. And the first three are just kind of like getting the hang of it and cultivating self-awareness. And then the last four are more like commanding energy. So like, okay, you're seeing like this red blob that's making you uncomfortable. Now you can push the red blob far, far away from you. And
Okay.
it's truly empowering. I love it. I love it for so many reasons. I mean, I've been practicing this for like nearly 30, wait, probably more than 30 years. Wow. Like nearly, actually. But yeah, the reason why I love it is because our minds do tend to be overactive. So it's like
Yeah.
me with the affirmations. As much as I love Louise Hay, I prescribe mantras, which are affirmations.
Yeah.
Totally, like these things work synergistically together. And also, if that's the only part of your brain that's forever on, then when you're saying an affirmation, then that very analytical part of your brain is going to judge you. But when
Right.
you're visualizing, there's like no judgment. It's just like play. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. So you're not even Einstein has this quote where he says, the solution cannot come from the same mind that created the problem.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Love
your
that.
imagination is a totally different mind. And so you get to like just play with different visuals and it just seems like an escape from reality or something. Like it's so active. So unlike meditation where you're like focusing on a candle or you're focusing on your breath, which is again lovely, I practice as well. This one's like so active. So if you're a little bit ADD or have a hard time with meditation, it's like you're doing so much, but what you're not doing is thinking, and what you're not doing is
Yeah.
feeling anxious or anything like that. So it's like active in this way that's very healing and self-regulating. And then that activity, once you get comfortable with creating the images, then you get a little bit more comfortable commanding them and making them do what you want them to do. And then the book outlines how you can use that as like divination tools and to ask yourself questions and tap into your intuition. But like I wasn't even expecting to tap into my intuition with them, right? Like they were
Yeah.
already helping me feel better before. Like I was just fine being a loser, like dental school reject with these tools. Like my situation had not changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that identity was gone.
Right.
And it's like without having to focus about it, like without having to like be like, I'm gonna work on this hard thing. It's just like it kind of works on itself in the background as you're focused on something more fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it makes total sense to me. Can you give us an example of like maybe like what is the first tool?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if your audience would want a little guided visualization. I'd be happy to go there.
Yeah, let's do that. I would love that. And
Okay.
why not? I mean, I feel like everybody could use a little guided
Right.
visualization.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So the
Just
first,
if you're driving, keep your eyes open.
yeah, totally. Keep your eyes open. I'll tell you what we're going to do and then I'll guide you in it. But basically,
Okay,
like the
love it.
first tool is a golden sun.
Yeah.
And the concept is that the sun is your power, it's your light, it's your essence. Nobody else in the world has the same gold light as you do. So it's like your DNA. And as life happens, you're packing the school lunch, you leave a little bit of your light behind with your kids, you're like walking the dog, somebody yells at you, you leave a little light behind with that person, whatever, right? So like what we're gonna do with our golden suns is you're gonna imagine a sun above your head and you're going to collect all your light back. So you might see some light leaving the lunchbox and the dog run and stuff like that. Or you might prefer to focus on the gold like container, like a pitcher of water, like filling up with the gold. Or most of us, when we first do this, actually don't see very much at all. And that's cool too. But you'll sense it, you'll feel it, you'll know that you're doing it. And then after we fill back the golden sun back up with your light, you'll fill in your body with your own light. And it's just really empowering.
Yeah.
It's
Sounds
nice.
beautiful.
Get present.
Love that.
Okay. Shall we do it?
Let's do it. Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, if it's available to you, feel free to close your eyes, get
Okay.
comfortable. We can just start with a few deep breaths to really get here. So, inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, holding it at the top for just a moment, and then exhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. And inhaling one more time, holding it at the top, and exhaling when you're ready. And with your mind's eye, you'll now imagine a huge golden sun hovering above your head. This is yours and yours alone. It's calling back any light that you may have left anywhere in the future, in the past, with people, places, thoughts, events. Simply acknowledge this golden sun and acknowledge how magnetic it is. It's almost like it's made out of a magnet that's calling back your energy. See, feel, or experience your gold light now coming back into your sun. It's filling it in your sun. It's filling it up from the bottom of the sun all the way up. Any gold light that may have been left in the past is pouring into your sun. Any gold light that may have been left in the future with plans, events, places is now pouring back into your sun. All the people that we love tend to carry some of our gold light with them. So any light that you may have left with your beloveds is now filling your sun all the way up and all the way in, because your power, your light is your power, and it works best for you. And when your light is all the way full, or your golden sun is all the way full, you'll simply imagine poking a hole in the bottom of it, and it'll funnel from the very bottom of the sun into the very top of your head and fall straight down to your toes. So all that gold light is now filling in your toes, your feet, your ankles, calves, and shins, filling you in with your personal power, your bright light. Filling in your thighs, your hips, all those tendons, bones, ligaments, filling in your stomach and back, all your internal organs with your golden sun, with your source energy, your personal power, filling in your chest, back, arms, forearms, hands, and fingers, and filling in your neck, face, and head so that every single cell in your body is vibrating off of your personal power, your bright light, helping you feel powerfully present, perfect, whole, and complete. And when you're ready, you can allow your fingers and toes to wiggle, your eyes to flutter back open.
That was beautiful.
Yay. How
So
was it?
wonderful.
Was it rushed at all since I was
No, I don't think it was
okay,
rushed. And
great.
I think it was perfect because I think that just even taking a couple minutes
It
of
was
time
exactly
throughout.
2 minutes, by the
Yeah.
way.
Oh, there you
That
go.
was
So
it.
just right. So just taking there you go. Like 2 minutes of your day. When you think about like how much time we spend scrolling on our phones and
Yeah.
looking at BS that is like completely
Yeah.
absurd and should not even be entering our mind
I
space,
know.
right? I mean, really. And then
You'll use
but
the
then
second tool to ground those out.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Right. There you go. And then you take that, like 2 minutes of your time to sort of just ground yourself in feeling, like you said,
Like you.
your light enter your body. And, I think, I feel great. And I think it's so important to take that time. And that was beautiful. So thank you for guiding us through that.
My pleasure.
It was
And
really,
like,
really,
have you been using yours since IIN?
you know, um, I try,
Good.
I
Have
try.
it. Forming
It's not,
it. But
Yes, yes. And I again, like I think that these tools are so important and it's probably the one area where I am trying to it's my little dog over
so
there. I know,
sweet.
she's so funny.
I love it.
She has to sit with me while I record. But it's the one area where it's the first area that kind of falls off when my life gets a little hectic or busy,
Sure.
and it shouldn't be, and I constantly am working on that, but
Aren't we
you know
all?
yeah, aren't we all,
Yeah.
and I think finding dedicated times, like especially in the morning, works for me, but I
Yeah.
love the idea that you can just take 2 minutes in your day to close your eyes and sort of go through that grounding.
And you can even do it with eyes open and like
Yeah.
just think about it like when you're at the grocery store or like
Right.
anytime where you want to scroll, why not use an energy tool instead, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. I think that's going to be my new thing.
It's just
Instead
like
of,
building a habit. Yeah.
yes, building a habit. Exactly. Which is,
Yeah.
when, and building a new habit is so much easier, or trying to get rid of an old habit that you don't like, such as
Right.
scrolling, is always easier to replace it with a new habit. So
Exactly.
that's a great suggestion.
Exactly.
That's what I'm going to be working on. It's going to be like my fall challenge for myself.
Well, that's all the Nuurvana, that's like what Nuurvana is all about is just like focus on the light. So like you're gonna get distracted. That's cool. Just like come back. Just like keep coming
Yes.
back and we'll be
Just keep
fine.
coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So it's just like, like rather than trying to not scroll, it's like just try and use your tool and reinforce that. And like the scrolling will just resolve itself type of thing.
Yes,
But it's
exactly.
like accepting that we all scroll.
Yeah.
It's also accepting
Right,
that
right,
it's not.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So I'm curious. So, you have all of these amazing accomplishments throughout your career. Tell me, like, who are your mentors?
Ooh, this is a great question. The first person that comes to mind is Alex Taberry. I was just talking about him yesterday, so that's probably
Okay,
why.
okay,
So he is a pediatric acupuncturist. He's
okay.
crossed over, but he was one of the first shining examples of living with authenticity and truth. He was like heavily tatted and constantly like invited overseas to teach on acupuncture, and he worked with kids, and he would like use eyeliner to like draw all over the kids. Like he would use his tattoos as like a conversation piece and be like, "Oh, let me
Yeah,
draw you one." But in the meantime, he's like touching them and palpating and gaining like an assessment. And
yeah,
yeah, I shadowed him for like 4 years, and it was so wonderful. His bedside manner, just the way he like actually sits on the floor with kids and sees at eye level. And I actually thought, I really didn't think this psychic thing was going to go down the way it did. I really thought I was going to be a pediatric acupuncturist.
oh,
Like
I
once,
love that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, like, I'm still gaslighting myself deep into like school. As a professional psychic, I've already started teaching these tools to my classmates and
So great.
still just viewing it as like a part-time job until I graduate.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Acknowledge
It's
my
great.
calling or anything. Yeah. So, yeah, I just loved his playfulness and how effective, like how impactful his authenticity was, and like how
Yeah.
easy it was for him to be that impactful, and how his focus was connection with the clients and connection with their presentation. And he just wasn't in his head, and he was also like kind of socially awkward and very unapologetic about that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like that was great to be like witness to. Like it just so unapologetically himself. He was a
Yeah.
great role model all around. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's great. Okay, what was his name again? Alex
Tiberi,
to Barry. Okay.
Tibbri. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, and so, all right, let's talk a little bit about psychic readings
Yeah.
because for people that maybe they've never had one before or maybe they're interested in one, I think maybe people just think of it as like, is a psychic reading just going to tell me my future? Is it just going to help me speak with someone who has gone before me? Like, what exactly is a psychic reading and who should be doing it?
Yeah, and I want to hear your thoughts on this too.
Yeah, okay, great.
Yeah. I feel like it's kind of like when you're getting a new therapist, to kind of sample a few, or if even with like a lawyer,
Yeah,
usually like I consult a few before I get the feel. So like
sure.
every psychic is going to be different. Ultimately, what you're going to want, it is somebody who's able to tap into, usually by way of like the theta state of being, like to tap into waves and to read your energy field. So I
Okay.
feel like we're just translating you back to you. We're just telling you what we're seeing in there, but we're not like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like
Right, right.
I just
Yeah.
close my eyes. And there's different divination tools, like people use tarot or pendulums or different ways um,
Okay.
to access that. But like really, so we use a lot of questions at Nuurvana, but we just kind of close our eyes. We don't use cards or anything. But so there's different ways to access information. I think we all have our gifts. So I absolutely believe we're all born psychic. And I also think some of us are better at reading past lives. Some of us are more like clairvoyant and will see a lot. Others are more
Yeah.
clairaudient, will hear a lot. Some of us are excellent at communicating with the deceased. Others are like so shut down when it comes to communicating with the deceased. It like really
Right.
scares them, but they can balance your chakras incredibly. So it's like I would imagine a psychic to be anyone that can work with your energy body and offer you information that would hopefully feel affirming, but maybe you didn't know for yourself. Not always fortune tellers. I personally don't believe in that because
Okay.
it kind of robs you of your free will. Like, change is the only constant, and sometimes people will be like, "Oh, am I going to get the, promotion or something like that?" And
Right.
hearing that they're not like it like I could tell you're supposed to pursue it. Like the pursuit of that is what that is really about. And I think you can absolutely will anything into existence. I've done it, blood, sweat, tears, like
Yeah.
love, careers. You can do that if you want.
Absolutely. Yep. If you believe it, it will come.
Right? So like I'm not really into like yes, no, you're gonna get this thing, but I'm more a
Right.
little bit of like here's your cosmic contract. Like I think like some things are placed on your path for the evolution of your soul, and we can kind of like tap into those coordinates and let you know their spiritual significance, like why this person's in your life, why that ex had to go down that way, and why it was like perfect for you,
Right. Right.
or why you're not going to get that position, but that's perfect for you, or like I wouldn't focus on whether or not they got the position in the future. I would probably focus on your relationship with it, why you're even asking this question, what it has to do with your identity, where the growth is at, and how to get closer to your values might not be this position.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. I
I
that's wonderful. And, it's just such a interesting, deeper state of being, right? It's just like being able, like you said, I think it's so interesting that you explained it in the way that where it's really, you're just reflecting our thoughts back to us, right? Like that's,
yeah,
when you think about it that way,
that's for
it's
sure.
just like, it's really what's in us. We're just for some reason not able to tap into that specific, I don't know if it's a state of consciousness, a certain
Yet
thought yet.
you just haven't
So
like trained, you know?
yeah. So it's really fascinating when you think it's really just our own thoughts being reflected back because we all have that inner knowing. We all really
Yes.
do know. But we need someone to help us understand what's really already inside of us.
And I mean, I'm sure you've seen this with nutrition too, right? Where
Yeah.
you're asking somebody to cut out dairy and they're like, I know. Like they're like, yeah.
Oh, 1,000%, of
I've
course.
felt it every time I've eaten it the past month, but it just needed somebody
Yes.
to
Yes.
affirm it for me for
Most people know what they need to do. They just need
yeah.
help actually doing it,
Yeah.
and little tweaks here and there. But yeah,
Yeah.
intuitively, when you tap in, your body is telling you exactly what it needs.
Have you seen a psychic?
So, yes, I've seen a psychic several times throughout my life, and it's something I probably should do more because I'm so interested in it. But yeah, I have, and when I have, I feel like they have really been spot on. I feel good after. I mean, again, nothing like predicting my future. Although I will say, and I actually, interestingly enough, told the same story on another podcast recently. But because I had on recently a woman who, in her midlife, discovered her intuitive abilities, and so now she does readings from like pictures and stuff. But
Love
I
it.
told the story. It's amazing. But I told the story how like when I was in college. So my mom passed away when I was in college, and she was sick prior to passing away. So, but I always had that hope that she was going to get better,
Yeah.
and I called the psychic hotline. Literally, like I was like 18 years old
Beyond
because I
Warwick.
I was so lost. I felt like I needed guidance. I
Yeah.
needed
You're so
a better,
young.
yeah, better understanding. And they advertised literally the psychic hotline. It was like 99 cents for your first minute, probably like $10 after that because I racked up like a $500 phone bill, and this is in like
Wow.
1996. I had
Wow.
like no
You're
money.
gonna spend
My
$1,000.
roommates got the phone bill. They're like, "Who called the psychic hotline?" That was back when you got a phone bill.
Yeah.
Anyway, but she did say, I mean, to this day, I was, 19 years old. To this day, I still remember key points that she said that in the moment I was like, "Nope, that's not happening. Nope, that's not happening." Like,
Yeah.
and it did. And it did.
I
And one of
love
them was
it.
that my mom, she's like, I can't really see. Is it either your mother or your grandmother is, very sick and suffering? And I don't remember if she exactly said she was going to die, but they said it was,
Wow.
it was something that, um,
Yeah.
and I was like, that's no, that's not going to happen. And then they also said they see a white car with 4 doors, and at the time I had a red car with 2 doors. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, this person has no idea what they're talking about. My car broke down several months later. I got a white car with 4 doors.
Yes.
I was like,
I
oh,
know. And
it's
it's that
crazy.
stuff that you're not even asking for. That's
Right.
what clients have told me. They were like, you just kind of like blurted this out and it wasn't on my list of things to ask you, so I didn't think of it. And like it
Yes.
totally changed my whole life. And it's I don't know where it came from. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's bizarre.
It's wild.
It's wild. It's
It
wild.
is
And that's
bizarre.
why, it is so wild that we can't understand it. We can't see it. We can't make sense of it. And that's why I think it's really difficult for people to kind of tap into it, even when you know
Yeah.
that you have it in you.
That's when
It's,
I invite people to keep an intuition log to make it
yeah,
tangible and make it scientific and
love
evidence
it.
and like, because we also, so much happens in a day, right? So like you could have, all these experiences and memory is valuable that you're just like not giving yourself credit for. So like
Yeah.
sometimes that helps make it a little bit more, helps you trust in yourself a little bit more.
Absolutely. Okay, so I know this amazing book is launching in September. Tell everybody where they can find it.
The website is my last name, Nuurvana, Nuurvana. The book is named Imagine, so it's nuurvana.com/imagine.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah, and you can read more about the book on the website, about the seven energy tools. When you do pre-order, if you scroll down on that same page, there's these pre-order perks.
Okay.
So one of them is
Fun.
a companion guide, and
Mm,
the companion guide also offers you the option of community if you want some accountability, doing the tools with some others. That's also available
that's
for
so
you.
fun. It's always fun to go along the journey with other people.
I think so.
Yeah.
My first few years of meditating also like way before cell phone, like I was 18 and would have to like drive to these like groups. But I couldn't meditate on my own. Like the first like
Yeah.
few years I needed other bodies doing the same thing I was.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I like group meditation so much.
That's great. And I think that's a great point to, if it's not feeling right on your own, join community,
Yeah,
right?
you have options. You can do it your way.
Options.
Like the whole book is like just be you. Like just like on purpose. Like
Right,
wear with pride.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, be you on purpose. That is really a great statement. Be you on purpose because we're all different and why not just be you,
And you're
right?
here on purpose. Like the
Yes.
chances of you even being here is like one in what, 8 trillion or something? Like there's no
Yes, it's
reason.
crazy.
Life is such a gift. Like it's so precious. So yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, we will be sure to link your website and where they can
Thank
find
you.
the book in the show notes so everybody can see it. And we will link all your socials as well so they can be sure to find you there too. And guys, you
Thank
can
you.
find me at Suburban Warrior on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and be sure to like, follow the podcast. Click the follow button so you can be sure to get every episode as it launches. And we are so grateful that you are here.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you so much for being here. It was really, really wonderful. And we'll be back next week, guys, with another amazing suburban warrior here to share her story with you. In the meantime, thank you. So grateful for you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.